Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where soothing stories guide you into a peaceful night's sleep. Enjoy imaginative bedtime stories that take you on a journey to the land of dreams, accompanied by relaxing background sounds to help you unwind and drift off easily. Perfect for both children and adults, Dreamy Tales is your ideal companion to relax, wind down, and enjoy tranquil moments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others. Tune in, relax, and let your mind wander into a world of calm and serenity with us. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, there lived a young musician named Elara. From a young age, she had been captivated by the music of the world around her, the whisper of the wind through the trees, the bubbling of the creek, and the songs of the birds that filled the skies each morning. Her mother had gifted her a simple wooden lute when she was just a child, and ever since, Elara had spent her days creating melodies that echoed the beauty she saw in nature. But no matter how sweet her songs, she could not shake the feeling that something was missing, a deeper magic, a connection that transcended the ordinary. Every night, Elara would sit on a grassy hilltop beneath the canopy of stars, strumming her lute softly as she gazed up at the moon. The moon had always been her silent companion, lighting her path as she played her songs. Its soft, silver glow comforted her, and sometimes, she imagined it was listening to her music, casting its light in response to each note. But still, she yearned for more. She dreamed of playing music that could touch the soul, that could move the stars themselves. One evening, as the moon rose full and bright over the horizon, Elara sat by the riverbank with her lute in hand, feeling a strange energy in the air. The night was unusually still, and the water shimmered with a faint, silvery light. As she strummed the first note, she noticed a soft glow from beneath the surface of the river. Curiosity piqued, she set her lute aside and waded into the shallow water. There, partially buried in the sand, was a small, radiant object. Elara carefully pulled it free from the water, gasping as she held it in her hands, a harp, no larger than a toy, but glowing with an otherworldly light. Its strings were made from pure moonlight, delicate and shimmering, while its frame was carved from silvered wood, etched with intricate celestial patterns. Elara had never seen anything like it. As she touched one of the strings, a single, pure note rang out, and the world around her seemed to pause. The stars above flared brighter, and the river rippled as if the very night was responding to the harp's call. A voice, soft as a whisper, seemed to rise from the wind itself. "Elara, you have found the Moon Harp. Its melody holds the power of the stars. Play, and the universe will listen." Heart-pounding, Elara hesitated only for a moment before gently plucking the strings. The sound was unlike anything she had ever heard. Each note was a thread of light, weaving through the air, creating patterns that shimmered and danced. As she played, the sky above seemed to pulse with energy, the stars twinkling in time with the music. Suddenly, from the forest's edge, a creature emerged. It was a deer, but not like any Elara had ever seen. Its coat shimmered like frost under the moon, and its antlers glowed faintly, casting a soft light around it. As the deer approached, it bowed its head toward Elara, as if acknowledging the power of her song. Before she could fully comprehend what was happening, more creatures appeared, tiny, winged beings with gossamer wings that sparkled like stardust, ethereal foxes whose eyes glowed with the light of distant galaxies, and a great owl, its feathers dusted with the glow of the stars. Elara's heart raced as the creatures gathered around her, their forms glowing softly in the moonlight. They seemed to be drawn to the music, their movements graceful and reverent as they danced to the melody of the moon harp. The air was thick with magic, and for the first time, Elara felt truly connected to the world around her, not just the physical world, but something deeper, something ancient. The music filled the night, and the stars themselves seemed to dance, swirling in patterns above her as if the sky was coming alive. The creatures joined in, their voices blending harmoniously with the harp's melody, creating a symphony of light and sound that echoed through the valley. But as the final notes of her song drifted into the night, the creatures began to fade, their forms dissolving into starlight. The great owl, however, remained. It glided silently toward Elara, landing softly at her feet. Its eyes, deep and ancient, met hers, and in a voice that seemed to resonate with the very earth, it spoke, "You are now the keeper of the moon harp, Elara. Its power is great, but with it comes responsibility. The stars may guide you, but the path ahead will not always be easy. There will come a time when the world will need this music again. Be ready." With those words, the owl took flight, its wings brushing against the sky as it disappeared into the night. Elara stood in silence, the moon harp glowing softly in her hands. She had found the magic she had been searching for, but the weight of the owl's words lingered in her mind. What did it mean to be the keeper of the moon harp? What responsibility had she taken on? The questions swirled in her thoughts, but for now, she felt only the warmth of the harp's magic and the joy of having touched something truly extraordinary. The following weeks passed by with a strange stillness, a calm before the storm. Elara kept the moon harp close, practicing its melodies every night beneath the stars. Each time she played, the creatures of light would appear, drawn to the ethereal notes. The village, though peaceful, felt a growing tension as whispers spread of strange occurrences, plants wilting under moonlight, animals behaving oddly, and an unnatural chill that lingered even during the day. Elara could sense it too, the pull of magic in the air, as if the world was holding its breath. One particularly cold evening, a violent storm broke out. Dark clouds smothered the sky, and the moon, usually so bright and watchful, was nowhere to be seen. Rain poured down, and the wind howled through the trees. Elara felt a deep unease gnawing at her. She hurried to the hilltop with the moon harp, knowing something was terribly wrong. When she reached the hill, she was greeted by a sight that froze her in place. Darkness was spreading across the land like a living entity, swallowing the light and leaving a void in its wake. It was as if the very stars were being consumed, and the moon remained hidden, casting no light to guide them. The creatures of starlight, her companions in music, were nowhere to be seen, and the chill of the night seemed to cut through to her bones. Elara's heart pounded in her chest as she realized that this was the moment the owl had warned her about. The world needed the power of the moon harp now more than ever. Trembling, she raised the harp to her chest and plucked the first string. The note rang out, pure and bright, but it was swallowed by the darkness. Elara gritted her teeth and continued to play, pouring all of her fear, her hope, and her determination into the music. Each note was a plea to the stars, a cry for help to the forces of the universe. Slowly, the darkness began to falter, as if the music was pushing it back, but it was a struggle. The clouds overhead churned, and lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the twisted shapes moving within the void. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, tall, cloaked, and shadowy. Its eyes glowed a sickly green, and it seemed to command the very darkness that surrounded it. The figure reached out toward Elara, and the temperature dropped even further. Ice began to form on the ground at her feet, creeping toward her with every passing second. "Who are you?" Elara called out, her voice trembling but firm. The figure's voice was like a rasping wind, cold and ancient. "I am the one who has been forgotten, cast aside in the light of the stars. Your harp's power was stolen from me, and now, I will reclaim it." Elara's fingers faltered on the strings as she realized what this creature was. It was the source of the darkness, the embodiment of forgotten magic and jealousy, seeking to destroy the light that had once shone so brightly. "You can't have it!" Elara shouted, her voice rising with determination. "This harp belongs to the stars, to the light. You cannot claim what was never yours." With renewed strength, Elara played again, and this time, the music surged with a power she hadn't felt before. The moon harp glowed brighter, its strings shimmering with silver light as the notes cut through the darkness like a blade. The figure hissed in fury, recoiling from the light, but it did not retreat. Instead, it lashed out, sending tendrils of shadow toward Elara, trying to extinguish the light. But Elara did not stop. She played on, her heart pounding in time with the rhythm of the music. The creatures of light returned, one by one, drawn to the melody. They gathered around her, their presence strengthening her resolve. The great owl swooped down from the sky, its wings brushing against the dark clouds as it circled overhead, lending its power to the music. Together, they pushed back the darkness. The clouds began to part, and the stars. The story, the melody of the moon harp, has been expanded as requested, diving deeper into Elara's journey as the darkness threatens to engulf her world. Here's a new version that doubles its length to meet your desired word count. The magical tension between light and shadow escalates, pulling readers into Elara's quest to harness the harp's power and fend off an ancient foe.